overflowing with knowing and bliss. If you get that far, just keep going, remembering this. Do what your heart says you should do. It's the most precious part of you. That's where the answers come, when your thoughts are calm and you're searching for the truth. Do what your heart says.
A blessed, beautiful Sunday to you, Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. My name is Marina, and I am your meditation guide this morning. Find a comfortable position. Rest your arms. Drop your shoulders. Relax your forehead. Let your entire body be heavy against your chair or cushion. Gently close your eyes. Bring your focus to your breath. Take a few deep, slow breaths. Allow each breath to fill your belly. Feel your belly expand as you breathe in. Feel your belly contract as you breathe out. In and expand. Out and contract. Notice that at the end of your inhale is a pause that then transitions to an exhale. And at the end of the exhale is a pause that turns into another inhale. Each breath is a simple example of beginnings and endings. Each breath brings life in. Each breath out releases tension. Each breath is unique. Each breath leads to yet another. A blessed, beautiful Sunday to you, Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. My name is Marina, and I am your meditation guide this morning. Find a comfortable position. Rest your arms. Drop your shoulders. Relax your forehead. Let your entire body be heavy against your chair or cushion. Gently close your eyes. Bring your focus to your breath. Take a few deep, slow breaths. Allow each breath to fill your belly. Feel your belly expand as you breathe in. Feel your belly as you breathe out. In and expand. Out and contract. Notice that at the end of your inhale is a pause that then transitions to an exhale. And at the end of the exhale is a pause that turns into another inhale. Each breath is a simple example of beginnings and endings. Each breath brings life in. Each breath out releases tension. Each breath is unique. Each breath leads to yet another. Endless beginnings and countless endings. Did you ever have a snow globe when you were little? Do you remember shaking it to make the sparkly snow fly and fill the globe with delightful movement? And when the snow settled, wasn't something revealed in the center? Some scene or precious figure? Then you would begin again. Shake, shake. Flying snow, hiding what lies within. In the end, settling snow, a special view emerges. Each beginning was new, each ending something discovered. Sometimes life feels like living in a snow globe. Sparkling things fly around us, obscuring the view, distracting us from what is within. Something shakes our world, and it all keeps swirling. Take a few moments to imagine your life as if it were a snow globe. What swirls around you? Is there ever time for it to all settle? Or is the shaking always beginning again? What is being hidden? What are you distracted from? What is it that lies beneath it all? What is the treasure at the heart of it? Sometimes we stay busy to distract from challenges in our midst. Sometimes we settle and take time to heal and appreciate. When we are still enough in that pause between beginnings and endings, we find the truth and the love that makes us who we are. Breathe that in. Breathe in and out with the love that is always there between the beginnings and endings. Breathe in, pause, breathe out, Pause. Begin. End. And begin again. Feel the chair beneath you. Move your body and stretch a bit. Ready? Open your eyes. Blessings to you on this glorious day, and thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Sunday virtual service. Thank you, Marina, for that great meditation. And Marina will also be handling pulling the strings and flipping the switches behind us today, keeping us all straight, so to speak. We're in an open, loving, and inclusive community, and we support living creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. So today we've got our music. We've got Cheryl Barlow's back. Yay, Cheryl, welcome. Anita Sheff will be doing our invocation. Sue Fulmer will read our sacred covenant, which is our blessing for our new minister, Hunt. And a very special guest today is Reverend Elisha, and he will be providing our message for us. So I can't wait. So let's just get over to Cheryl and hear some music. Hello, Cheryl.
Good morning, Alan. So happy to be back with everyone today. And we're just going to set the tone for our prayer this morning with this beautiful song by Lisa Ferraro and Erica Luckett called All Is Well. And it's just that reminder that no matter what's going on around us, that everything is right as it should be. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is well, all is healed, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. And as Alan introduced a moment ago, Anita Sheff is going to do our invocation. Good morning, Anita.
Right now, to settle in, relax, and feel the sacredness of this time together, and to establish the simplicity of this very moment when we let go of everything that has happened up until this now. We let go of any agenda or plans that we may have coming up. And we just center in. We focus on this intention to be fully present in this service today. I recognize that there is only one presence, one power in the universe, and it is the source, the creator, and the essence of all of life. It's the essence of my life and the life of every person who hears my voice today. And I know the nature of this thing that I sometimes call God is love. Absolute, pure love. So much bigger than the love of this holiday that we have created called Valentine's Day. God's love is so much more. And it shows up in infinite ways. All I need to do is look at this beautiful day. The sunrise, the red rocks, the blue sky. And I see love. And so I open in this time right now to the many ways that love shows up in my life and in the life of each one joining me this morning. I simply allow my mind to go with the flow of that love. And I am blessed to see it expanding and surprising me, delighting me, and filling me with more love than I could ever possibly imagine. And so I just give back. I give back in service, in compassion, in caring, in positive intentions and good wishes for everybody who crosses the path of my mind today. And so I know that this service is blessed, for the divine is truly the motivation for all that we do, all that we say, and all that we feel with our hearts today. I am truly grateful for everybody participating in this service, for the inspiration of the music and the wisdom presented in the message, and for each one who is listening or watching, holding love in their heart. I give thanks. I give thanks for the flow of grace in all of our lives. And I simply let it be. And so it is.
And so it is. These lyrics are going to be on screen if you would like to sing along. Just affirm this truth. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is well, all is healed, all is well, all is well. In the presence of the One, in the presence of the truth, all is healed, all is whole, all is well, all is well. All is well. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Sue Fulmer. She's going to read our Sacred Covenant. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Cheryl. That was so beautiful. Sets the tone so lovely. I send love on Valentine's Day to all of you, my friends out there. Such a day of love. And let's send love and attract through the law of attraction, this wonderful minister that's on his or her way to us. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe, for it is written, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole," by Ernest Holmes. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth. I live the presence of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. Now add your own personal truth and affirmation. I embrace. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sue. So in this month of February, our theme is One Journey, Many Paths, and our focus today is the infinite invisible. The infinite invisible. If that power is invisible, how is it manifest here, right, in this realm? Joel Goldsmith, the mystic, he said, God must become an activity in our consciousness. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, when we've broken our God of tradition and ceased from our God of rhetoric, then may God fire the heart with its presence. And of course, that's our charge here, is that we're the ones that can be the hands and feet in this space. Step out in earnest, step out in faith, be of good courage, don't hesitate. We are the blessing that we choose to be, Spirit expressing the hands and feet. The world that works for everyone is knocking at our door. Don't be surprised to realize we're the ones we're waiting for. Hold on to wonder, hold on to truth, vision and ponder what's mine to do. Feel inspiration, meet you where you are. Love every nation, shine like stars. A world that works for everyone is knocking at our door. Don't be surprised to realize we're the ones we're waiting for. For you, for me, for all we can be, give rise to the kingdom come in a world that works for everyone. Back to you, Alan.
Thank you, Cheryl. You know, many of you know and some don't. I spent many years in Nashville, Tennessee in songwriter circles and writing and being around a lot of songwriters. But I'm going to tell you, I've got to put Cheryl Barlow right on top of that list with them. She is one of the most profound songwriters and with spirit flowing through that I've ever heard. So thank you, Cheryl, for being with us and sharing. Some time ago, well, not too long, I had the honor of being at a mutual friend's house, Chris McCardle's house, when Elisha came and received his official minister certification. And he had started his path here in this house and continued it and showed up for the final few days of that path. And I'm going to tell you, you should have felt the energy in this house when that happened. I haven't been around. I got God bumps going on here right now. So I was truly blessed that day. And we're truly blessed today that Reverend Elisha is going to share his message with us. Welcome, my friend. Namaste.
Hi, Alan. It's good to see you. Good morning, my friends. I'm so grateful to be here. Let's begin, as always, by taking a few breaths together. So if you will, just exhale first and then take a deep breath in. And let go. Take another deep breath in. And let go. One more deep breath. And let go. So, as Cheryl mentioned earlier, this morning's conversation, our topic is about the infinite invisible. And our month's theme around CSL for February is this idea of one journey, many paths. And I honestly kind of had to chuckle when I heard it. It just feels, it's such a cliche like idea. Oh, like we're all on the same paths. Everything leads to the, we're all going to get there eventually. And yet, here we all are on this journey we call life, living on this one planet, having a collective shared experience, and then we all meander our own individual way through that thing. But this idea of the infinite invisible has really got me thinking this week about how much of the world that we experience, how much of life, how much of our consciousness, how much of our experience is actually invisible and is based on all of our interactions with the invisible forces around us. And in a sense, each one of us individually and really the world, the reality that we're experiencing is in a sense just the tip of the iceberg. That so much of what is actually creating and so much of what is actually going on and so much of all that surrounds us is actually invisible. And the physical experience, the manifested experience, that which shows up in our bodies and the world around us is such a minute fraction of the truth of the reality of who we are, of the world that we're living in, of the magnitude of just the infinite magnitude of the invisible realms that surround us all. And indeed, the infinite invisible presence that lives within each one of us. I always start every talk, everywhere I go, with inviting us to come together around these 3 shared breaths together of just stopping and slowing for a moment to just breathe consciously in the awareness of that breath. Because for me, one of the things that I find myself saying in my prayers often is that I am breathed by God, that I am breathed by the universe, that each one of us is being breathed by something greater than we are. That indeed there is some invisible presence that is breathing our bodies, that is animating us, that is living us. And it's inhabiting this physical experience, but it's being informed by so much that is unseen. And how we navigate through the unseen is, in a sense, then what brings forward what shows up in the world of form, in the seen, felt experience. And as you know, I've been a student of Jean Houston for a long time, and she has this sort of, in her work, she uncovered what she calls the 4 levels or 4 realms of consciousness. And in a sense, I've been thinking about this, that all 4 of these realms, in a sense, have invisible components, and it's even the physical world. And so in Jean's model, in Dr. Houston's model, there are 4 levels. And the first level is the physical sensory world. And yes, that's the world that we see. But think about the last year plus at this point, since COVID came into our global experience, that something unseen, something completely invisible in the physical world is manifesting all around us, is affecting every single one of our experiences. That there is some invisible agent, some invisible force. We call it COVID-19. It's this virus, this tiny little thing that we cannot see. This one little code of RNA that is floating around the planet, changing all of the circumstances. Ooh, there we go. Changing everything around us, shifting how we have to engage with everything. That this invisible force, this invisible thing in our experience is affecting so much. And that's just in the physical world. And even in the coding of physical reality, quantum physics is informing us that there is an invisible world of potential that surrounds us in every moment. That there is an infinite, invisible world that makes up our physical bodies. That we are filled with the infinite. That there is an invisible physical world that we are wading through, moving through, that we can't even see really. And then in Jean's work, the next level is the psychological historic. It's our internal world. And if we think about this, as we think about all of the invisible forces that live within each one of us, our whole story, our past, all of our experiences, every single one of us is carrying around an entire personal history everywhere we go. And that entire personal history, all of our experiences, all of our beliefs, everything we've been told about ourselves, all of our failures and mistakes, all of our past relationships, all of our everything is coming around, walking with us everywhere we go, invisibly informing every choice that we make. Every reaction, every response, every interaction is being informed by all of the things we believe about ourselves, by the stories we're telling ourselves about who we are, by all of our doubts, by all of our fears, by all of our triggers, by all of our dreams or our vision of who we could be. All of that is informing us in every moment. So there's an entire internal world within each one of us that is completely invisible to everyone else. And everyone else's world is completely invisible to us. And yet we walk around in this shared experience, all of us carrying all of this invisible information that is being creatively communicated through our interactions, through our manifestations, through our experience, through that which we choose and unknowingly and unconsciously choose and call in. And then the next layer of invisible influence, as we might call it in Jean Houston's work, is the mythic or symbolic realm. And we're seeing a lot of that in our world, that the mythic, the symbol is about story. What are the stories that we're telling ourselves about what's going on? And we have really witnessed in the last year, again, really the last year has really offered us a lot to look at, but it's been years, decades, it's been hundreds of years leading up to this, what we're experiencing, this collective consciousness building up. And that is what is about the mythic. The mythic is about what's in our collective consciousness. If that previous invisible world was about what's happening inside of each one of us, then there's also a collective invisible world of all of our shared experience, all of our shared stories, all of the religious influences that give mythologies and storylines and moral codes for society to operate through. That we have seen whole political ideologies, those are mythologies, political ideologies that are swirling around in our collective consciousness, this invisible influence acting in and through everyone. that we've seen the rise of conspiracy theories and these whole culture of diving into deep myths to explain all of the confusion. But we see all of these storylines rising up. All of this is rising up in our collective consciousness, all of these invisible influences. But then holding all of that, or deep within inside of all of that, Jean says that the fourth invisible layer is the infinite, is the unitive, the spiritual, the integral realm. That indeed there is a source presence, that there is an infinite love, that there is a consciousness that holds all of it. And that there is a deep energy, a life force, a current that moves through absolutely everything, informing everything at the base, subtle level. And I believe that in Science of Mind and in our New Thought philosophy, that infinite spirit, that source current that flows through all things, that is the infinite invisible, that is the realm of infinite possibility, that is the realm of infinite energy, of infinite love, of healing possibility. That in that infinite realm, the nature of all things are held. And so in this idea that there's this one journey that we're all walking through that we call life, and then each one of us has to choose our own meandering path, navigating all of these invisible influences, that there are infinite invisible influences everywhere, right down from the very viruses that are traveling around in the physical world, to each one of our personal beliefs and histories and experiences, to the whole collective stories and conspiracies and myths and religions and political parties, and the whole history of humanity that informs the storylines that are living out around us all. And then we can reach out into the awareness that there is a deeper, subtle reality, a deeper, subtle source of energy, source of inspiration, source of peace, source of calm. And I think it's useful sometimes to be able to think in these sort of tiered layers, that there's a physical world full of invisible influences. There's our internal world full of invisible influences. There's a whole collective consciousness, thoughtmosphere, race mind that is full of these influences. And then there is consciousness itself. And if we have this sort of 4-tier system of thinking about these whole ocean of infinite things that cause us to interact with the world in different and individual ways, then it gives us a realization that we can use that as a model to focus ourselves. Because we know that whatever we give our attention to, whatever we focus on, whatever we pay attention to, the nature of the human brain is then going to make us want to focus on that thing more. That whenever we start to recognize a pattern, we can start to see that pattern other places in our life. It starts to show up in the world. That whenever we choose to look for something, the nature of the mind is to then start to see it everywhere. And so if that's the case, and there are all of these invisible forces surrounding us, influencing us all the time, then the more we start to pay attention to those invisible influences, the more we start to pay attention to all that is below the tip of the iceberg, underneath the visible layer of life. And we start to bring our attention to those things. The more we do that, those things start to emerge into our experience. They start to come into the realm of the seen. And so there are many layers to choose where we're going to place our attention. And spiritual practice, things like meditation, where we sit and we bring our attention down to the innermost layer. We bring our attention to our breath, to the idea that we're being breathed by something greater. And that breathed by something greater brings us into the awareness of that which is doing the breathing. And that which is doing the breathing is God. And in God, there is love. In God, there is peace. In God, there is the ability to pause. And to bring from the source of all that is into your heart and into your mind a sense of clarity, in order to bring that forward into your experience of the world. And so if we know that there is infinite invisible possibilities, distractions, information, influences everywhere we go. All the time we're being informed by 1,000, a trillion, infinite points of information coming at us, from within all that surrounds us. Then it's incredibly important to have a practice of finding ways to sit every day to focus what in the invisible are we giving most of our energy and attention to in order to bring something else into the world. And not only for our own sense of peace and betterment, but for the collective good, for the support of life, for the ability to engage with other people in a way that brings more love in the world, that brings more understanding in the world. We are living in times that are increasingly divided and increasingly divisive. And that is due to much of the invisible influences that are out there in the media, in the world, in our belief systems, in our history, in all of the structures of our government and our society. There is so much that is influencing every single one of us. And all of that is creating. And I think that in New Thought, oftentimes we have this fallacy that we can just place our mind on anything we want and that we can create anything and have anything. And yet that would assume that there are not all of these invisible influences everywhere, that we are not creating in a vacuum, that we are not here on this planet by ourselves, that we are all here creating, that history is creating, that society is creating, the environment is creating. And then each one of us is doing our part. Each one of us is contributing. We're adding to a collective masterpiece. But we have to realize that the evolution that I think is so important for us to step into in New Thought is really beginning to focus that the purpose of our spiritual practice is about the collective consciousness, is about the collective good, is about the collective evolution of life, of our interaction with the planet itself, with each other. And that for 100 years, this philosophy has taught us how to look at ourselves, how to get what we want, how to become better people. And that's an important starting point to get us to start churning and thinking about how to interact with life. But that cannot be where it stops. That we have to get an idea of our personal power and the influence that we can make in the world, and then become one who is an influencer, become one who is willing to be the change that we actually want to see in the world, need to see in the world. And to use this idea that our consciousness can create, and then look into the world and find the invisible forces that need our attention, find these storylines that are not being attended to, find the work that needs to be done, find the information that's not being talked about. So that we can, if we ever want to live into a vision that CSL and we each have been claiming in all of our centers for over a decade, maybe 20 years now, saying our vision is of a world that works for everyone. Well, we'll never get there by just affirming our personal and individual good and trying to get what we want and stay comfortable. That if we actually want to bring forward a world that works for everyone, then our task is to look into the invisible, to look into the unseen, to look into the possible, and see what could be. And then ask ourselves, in order to get there, what needs our attention? And start looking into the world for the things that need our attention and place our attention on those things and bring them forward for healing, for change, for shift, for new ideas, for rearrangement, for reinvention. And I think we're starting to do it. We're starting to see it happen. There's a great shift in science of mind that is happening, and it's taken a long time, but this organization is moving to be more focused on engaging in the world and being agents of social change, being agents of conscious evolution, being agents for actually bringing better movement for good into the world. We have to evolve above a me-centered philosophy and step fully collectively together into a we-centered philosophy. And so not only can we use the invisible as an invitation to look all the way to the deepest realms and find that source of inspiration and source of peace, but we can also recognize that in the infinite invisible, there is also the field of possibility. There is the realm of ideas, and there is a world of vision. And that when we take the time to just stop every day and be in some sort of contemplative practice, some sort of internal practice, whether it's contemplation on just the nature of things, whether it's meditation, whether it's some sort of yoga movement practice, but something that brings us deeply in touch with the invisible felt sense of who we are. It gets us a little bit out of the distracted field of invisibility and find a center. Because the more that we're able to do that and get away from all of the invisible noise, in a sense, and find the invisible space of quiet, it's in that space that we can actually think into what could be possible. It's into that space that we can actually think into or be open to receive the inspiration, the aha, the awareness about what it is that we could be doing, about the next step that we can take, about the action that we can make, about the issue that needs our attention, about the person who needs our love. Because I believe that the purpose of a spiritual life, the purpose of spiritual practice, the purpose of being a conscious individual is to reveal more love in the world, is to reveal God everywhere we go, is to be a place where the spirit of life shows up in people's lives, where God shows up to make purposeful, intentional change for good in the world. That is what we're here for. It's who we are. And each one of us is sourced by, filled with, and surrounded by an infinite, invisible world. Even the physical universe, as far as we know, 94% of the physical universe is invisible. That all the matter that makes up absolutely everything, as far as we know, is like something like 4% of the entirety of the universe. So that means about 96%, sorry. So if 4% of the universe is physical matter, 96% of everything else is invisible. And all of that invisible is informing who we are. And that means that only the tip of the iceberg of who we are is visible. That each one of us is that physicalized 4%. But there's a 96% of who you are that is so infinite and beyond. There's a Hebrew word for the infinite, a Hebrew name for God. It comes from the Kabbalistic tradition, and the word is Ein Sof, which means boundless, infinite beingness. And so, my friends, let us use the power of our mind, the power of our intention and our attention, and the depth of our spiritual practice and the invitation into God as a way to navigate through all of the invisible influences that the world will offer us, so that we can be one who places our heart, our love, our energy, our consciousness into that field of invisible influence, so that we become the change makers, we become the healers, we become the ones who are seen and known as the children of God, as the children of the universe, the lovers of life, the light bringers. Let that be who we seek to be. And so on this Valentine's Sunday, I invite you to realize the infinite, invisible field of love. And so in doing that, take a breath with me. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. And take another deep breath in. And as you release, take another breath. And then just allow yourself to be breathed. to realize that something greater than you are, that some animating force, that some invisible presence is breathing your body, is beating your heart, is doing all of the activity of you as you right now. That each one of us is being lived by the infinite invisible, that each one of us is simply the tip of the iceberg, and that there is a whole beingness that lives below the surface, and that we are surrounded by an infinite field of possibility, an infinite sea of consciousness, an ocean of love. That is the nature, the ground of being. And it lives us, it breathes us in every moment. And so let us be in the awareness today that each one of us is the universe in miniature, that each one of us is God in form, that each one of us is the body of the earth rising up to be lived. And as we are the life of the earth, the life of the universe, the life of God, let each one of us navigate through the field of the seen and the unseen, in a realization of wholeness, that we are the place where it all integrates, that we are the place where it all comes together, that each one of us is the place where the light and the love of God itself shows up. And it simply shines through our eyes, it speaks through our mouths, it hears through our ears, it works through our hands, it walks through our feet. Let us be lived by the invisible, and let each one of us live into possibility. Let us be people who live deeply into the field in the realm of the possible and the unseen, and tap into the energy of God. And through the power of our focus, our intention, our intention, our choice, and our actions, we bring that unseen presence into the world, and we be the ones who are the offerings. We be the one who give love. We are the ones who bring light everywhere we go. And so let us just be in gratitude for the opportunity to be in service to life. Let us be in gratitude and in celebration for the opportunity to be the answer to a prayer in someone else's life. Let each one of us live and breathe and choose as if we truly believe that there is a power for good in this universe that is greater than we are. When we live our lives in service to it, we live our lives in surrender to it, to allow it to course through us, to be who and what we are. And so for all of this and so much more, I just say yes. May the power and the presence of the invisible one breathe us everywhere we go, live us in every way. And so, my friends, let us just breathe. Let us be breathed. Let us let go. And let us let God. And so it is.
So it is. Reverend Elijah Christopher, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan.
I could listen to you for more than we got today. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. Be blessed, my brother.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Blessings.
So we begin our Spread the Love program today, and it's a campaign, and we'd like to have you join us. You did receive an email this morning asking you to either renew your membership or begin your membership with at the Center for Spiritual Living in St. George, and make your commitment to and pledge to your financial pledge to participate in the services through the year. And as we all know, the business side of running the center is to know what we got and what we're going to have and help us budget and keep this thing rolling. So there's several ways you can give. You can text it, you can give online, you can do PayPal, you can mail a check. There's just all kinds of ways that you can help become involved. Now, if you didn't get an email, if you're visiting us, just go on the website and leave us a message, and we'll get you in the circle of communication so we can stay in contact with you. So come on in and join the party. Our month's virtual workshop this month is on Sunday, February 21st, and it will be officiated by Reverend Hannah Rothland. So here's a little short video introducing that.
Hi, everyone. Reverend Hannah Rothland here from Center for Spiritual Living, St. George. I'm here with you today to extend a personal invitation to attend the workshop that I'm offering Sunday, February 21st, after service. It's entitled One Journey, Many Paths, from 2 to 4 o'clock on Zoom, so you can be in the comfort of your own home. During the workshop, we'll explore how our unique spiritual journey has led us to this moment. We're going to celebrate the guides, the teachers, and even the circumstances that have brought us to this very moment. We'll also take time to identify any beliefs or obstacles of going deeper on our spiritual journey. And then we'll finally finish by creating a vision of how we want to move forward with our evolutionary spiritual journey. You can sign up for the workshop by going to the St. George website, or you can also go to the link that's provided on this month's newsletter. I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, that sounds great. Going to have to be there. Hope to see you all there. We're still looking for a new minister. We know they're out there and they're on their way, but you might actually know somebody that would be a good fit. And if you do, just let them know and they can get a hold of us through our Facebook page and let the good times roll. We have every Sunday after service at 12 o'clock. We all get together on Zoom and say hello and recap the message of the day and just whatever comes up and have a good meeting. And it's just kind of like the virtual version of the room where we go have our coffee and donuts. Less the donuts. Well, we'll be okay anyway. So anyway, we're still here to support you. We have our community care circle. Volunteers that are calling, keep in touch with people, and just if you need somebody just to chat with, you can see how to contact them there. You can call the number, leave a message, and somebody get a hold of you and chat. We also have our practitioners on standby all the time for prayer. If you would like to participate with a practitioner and have them pray with you, you can see how to contact them on the prayer at St. George. And then, or also call the number, leave a message. Next Sunday, our guest speaker will be Eugene Holden. That's good. And then the following week, Reverend Hannah Rothland will be in person giving her message. So we hope to see you all there really soon. So right now, we're going to offer our final closing affirmation. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it and I share it.
Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is becoming. Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life. Thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Love you all.